Welcome to Tune In Tuesday. It's Season 2, Episode 26 of the Patriettes podcast. We're live streaming here from the America First Warehouse every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. from Long Island, New York. How are you, everybody? Can you believe it's 26? We're halfway through the year.
Oh, I just want to get to 100.
We are halfway through. We're short one Patriot tonight. Our girl T is, hopefully she's watching right now, or she could be sleeping. She's recovering from surgery, so we hope she's
watching.
She's watching. So is
I
Ernie.
have a feeling she is.
We're missing our Patriot brother too.
Yeah, so we're sending you prayers, T. We love you, we miss you, and you just need to rest and get better and completely recover. And we'll see you back here next week, okay?
Yeah.
All righty.
100%.
So tonight we have a special guest with us, Tommy Tatum. You are a political prisoner turned watchdog.
Kinda. I'll tell you all about it. In a minute.
We can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. It's kind of like saying stolen valor. Cause I was arrested for January 6th. However, it's a special situation, but I only did 5 hours and got to go home.
Oh, really?
Okay.
A lot of guys did a lot of serious, hardcore time, so I don't want to make it sound like I was in jail. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a thing.
We're happy you're here with
I
us.
didn't even know
I'll
that.
explain. Yeah, I'm gonna get into it.
Yeah, we're happy to you're here with us, and we're looking to dig deep into what you know and what's been going on and what you're working on, and we're happy to have you here.
Yeah, but I think before we dig in deep to what happened and what's transpired since, I want the audience to get to know you on a personal level.
Yeah, and I'm kind of excited to do it this way.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Because I'll be like, when you do this for a long time, you can get into pre-programmed responses, and I'm at the point like I don't know what the audience wants to know, right? So yeah.
Well, for us, I think I could speak for all of us. We want to get to know you as a person, as an individual, who you are as a human being.
I know you from watching you at the J6 Corner.
Yes.
Always seeing you at the corner.
Yes.
Every week.
Yeah, for a year.
There. Yeah. So that's how I recognized you.
You know that, yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of weird because I'm just like from a regular guy from Mississippi, and I felt like God told me he revealed his plan to me that I knew there was one my entire life, but I could never figure it out. And not to sound too arrogant, but I could go apply myself to anything and kind of master it and then get real bored with it and then been empty because I wasn't doing what God wanted me to do. It took me, and I say this to men, like, don't get discouraged if you don't figure it out the first decade. It took me 2 or 3 of them, but when I did, like now I can see miracles.
Well,
Because I understood it's like the opposite of being humble, because there is something that God has given you to do that you're the only human being on earth that can do it.
That's right.
And who are you to say, no, God, I'm not big enough to do that?
That's right.
So it kind of started for me like that.
Well, that was going to be one of my first questions. Where did you grow up? So is that Mississippi?
I grew up in Benny Thompson's district in Mississippi, the murder capital of the world, the poorest place in America.
How far is that from Jackson?
It's about 2 hours north of Jackson, about 3 hours south of Memphis on the Mississippi River.
Okay. Deep south.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally where the heart of the blues and the catfish capital of the world.
Do you live there your whole life?
I was born and raised there. When I was around, I never got married until I was like 40. So I used to spend a lot of times partying and doing that whole thing, moving from like Houston, New Orleans, Colorado, back and forth.
Okay.
And then I kind of settled down at 30, and I started running fine dining restaurants because I've been doing that kind of waiting tables and stuff for a long time because you can get a job wherever you go. And I had lived on Beale Street in Memphis, partying, New Orleans, out in Texas, Houston. So I finally started growing up around 30, and I ended up running a fine dining restaurant for about 8 years, and then I got into the radio business in Greenville, Mississippi, and I started running 10 radio stations there.
Wow.
For a man who we owned about 10 stations in Mississippi and a couple in Hawaii. And at one point, we developed a news me and a man who's dead now. His name's Tom Churchill. He was a literal genius. You can look him up on the internet. And we had created a news service to go along with our radio station, which was top state of the art for what we were doing. And so I learned, he was my mentor to the news. So I started doing news, and then COVID hit. And I don't know if you ever tried to sell advertising. If you ever tried to sell advertising in the poorest place in the world during COVID.
Pandemic.
Good luck.
Right, yeah. So I'll start doing the news because all the stuff that was going on at the city council hearing, everybody's wanting to know on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
That's all. Everybody's watching everything go down. So people were willing to, hey, or calling me up, will you go down and live stream what's going on in the most corrupt place in the world? okay, I'll do it. And I went down, and that's where it all started for me, getting targeted there. And I did a lot of reporting about the corruption in Benny Thompson's district. And I actually testified about these people, and I named them in federal court in June of 23 when I waived my rights to testify in another J6ers trial. And you can look all this up in that trial's USA versus Brian Mock. So I hope I answered the question.
No, yeah, absolutely did, absolutely.
Okay.
So, and that was in Memphis, the news that you.
So it was. So we had 10 radio. We covered a large area.
Down
so
south.
That region, in between Memphis and Jackson.
Okay.
This is the two cities I think most people would recognize. The capital of Mississippi is Jackson, and then like 5 hours north of that is Memphis on the river. Is where I live. Like I was a river rat growing up.
So that was 2020. Well, or that was the pandemic for you. What happened that you decided?
For me, growing up Pentecostal and the deep Bible and like very interested in the Bible and stuff my whole life, I had a relationship with God and everything. It wasn't like for a lot of people like they want us to take a shot. What is that? It's like, oh, here's the mark of the beast, and they're making everybody take it. It's like a horror show every day happening, and everybody walking around just like in a horror show. They don't see the zombies walking around.
Yeah.
That's what I'm sure it was like for anybody awake. It's like
Yeah.
watching Revelations unfold in front of you, and everybody calling you crazy for noticing.
So you saw it right away. You saw the writing on
I'm
the
like,
wall.
I'm not. I'm like, they pull a bullet in me before they ever put one of their shots.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Agreed. So let's now take us to.
So the summer of 2020.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I had a wife and everything, and you know,
You were married at this time.
I got married. I guess about. What year was that? 2014, I think.
Typical husband.
2014.
Guess she wasn't too memorable.
No, I'll tell you what, she was actually really good. And I don't have this horror story to tell about my ex-wife.
Good.
What it was God put me on a path that she was not at a spot where she was willing to risk her life for this other human being's deal with God, right? And it involved doing some very serious reporting about some very serious things. So I get it. So I don't hate that lady. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No.
You're just on different paths.
yeah. And it's like a lot of things. Like you'll be amazed at the people you thought were your sworn enemies who are, and they're watching, waiting on you to fail and take glee.
Oh,
in it.
yeah, we
They'll
know
be the
that.
very ones that call you up in the middle of the night and say, you inspired me and you changed me. You know, you never know. So, I hope it works out. Well, I'd like to have a conversation
Amen.
one day.
Yeah. It's true.
But so during that, I lost every friend, every association. They all turn your back on you. There are no profits from your hometown because everybody knows every little dumb thing you did in 7th grade or your brothers. Like, imagine being Jesus' brother.
Yeah.
And you're like, you think you're perfect, Jesus? Well, I am.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they get sick of each other. So
You lost your friends during COVID because you didn't agree with.
Well, with that coupled with, I'm talking about the power structures in corrupt cities like downtown South, where it's all very isolated and nobody's supposed to talk about the truth. And if you do, the rest of the community will come attack you for the evil ones. And that's how you know. It's communism, and if you know enough about communism, like if you take the political ideology out of it, the way it works on a very pragmatic thing is we're all communists and nobody else is getting a job or a promotion because they're not one of us.
Yes.
Right.
We are in the midst of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at unions and all of the things, how they work.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people, because we can get very, like, I don't know, like a movie, like we're fighting communism, like it's very human, it's very evil. I don't describe it as capitalism versus other forms of economic. I describe it as capitalism versus Satanism, because capitalism is the only form of government, and our founding fathers weren't geniuses because they dreamt these things up. They were geniuses because they recognized it in works like the Magna Carta and all these other great works throughout history, which
Yes.
explained what motivates human beings and how can we come up with a form of government that is not completely 180 degrees alien to the human spirit.
Right.
Ain't that the
Yeah.
truth?
Good.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well
Thank
said. Well said.
So now, take us to January
6th.
January 6th, 2020.
So what happened was I had a friend, and he's on Facebook. Everybody about the COVID stuff, and his big thing, not that I was a Mississippi flag guy, but I understood the reason why, and I didn't like the bullying they were doing with all the stuff. So at one point, Mississippi had voted to keep their state flag. Like the people of the state voted for it. My friend's issue was he thought that was wrong, that the governor just changed the state flag because of all this COVID. No, it was the BLM stuff, I think. That whole color revolution.
Okay.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And he was probably right, but you have to be careful how you explain that to not so well-educated voters, I'll say. So, and I hadn't seen Tommy in probably 15, 20 years. I grew up with him, was one of the best people I knew growing up, and then he went on with his life. And then we're all upset about the election and COVID and all that. And does anybody want to go to D.C. with me? If you throw in $50, we'll all ride up there, watch Trump's speech, and then we'll go look at the monuments and everything, and then we'll come home. So in other words, we'll go be tourists.
So
Right.
you went with a group of
Me
people.
and
You
two
did-
other guys.
Okay.
Like so many of us did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get there, and they kind of were
Were
doing.
you still married at this point?
I'm going through the divorce at this point.
Okay.
I think I'm trying to remember back, but I think I come back and had one conversation with her about being at the Capitol. Like, all this had just happened to me. And we're like at the end of the relationship, and she didn't even believe I was there. Like, you're making that up. Like I was doing that thing for attention, right? So I was like, I don't even have to deal with all this. But back then, right after, I'll get to J6 in just a second, but when we left there, it was terrifying because they were telling people we killed cops as terrorists.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of us were afraid to go to the doctor. I'll get to the story here in just 1 second, but I had like been maced or peppered like 6 times at the bottom of 2 pileups of people. Chest infections, all of it.
Wow.
And I was afraid to go to the doctor. The doctor's going to turn me in and tell everybody I killed a cop or something.
Yeah, what he said, I got maced, and then you're afraid that they're going to turn you into the Fed. So he was
Yeah.
at J6 and got maced, and
So on J6.
Scary.
So we went there, we went to the monument, and it's kind of funny because it was real cold and windy that day. But when we got there, it was kind of like a church atmosphere, like a camp meeting atmosphere, family reunion, kids running around. It was that spirit. And then Trump said, now we're all going to walk down to the Capitol peacefully and patriotically. Some of us were like, I'm old, and that's a mile that way. My feet already hurt, but I'll go down there. So we had no idea we were even going to the Capitol that morning. And when I got down there, I think about it, there was never one soldier, one police officer along this mile walk down to Washington Mall that said, don't go that direction.
That's right.
There's bad things happening. Don't go that way. If there was one soldier or one police officer who had done that, January 6th would
So I'm going to stop you right here. I'm going to stop you right here because we have to cut to a commercial break. But I want you to come back with this exact story.
Yep.
So as soon as we
You
come
remember
back
you
from
were
the
I do.
commercial, we'll
I
have
do
more-
remember,
more
yes.
from Tommy.
Yeah.
So how long we got? Back in Vape?
Corrupt judges, broken families, families torn apart. This is injustice. If you've been wronged by the system, join us. Don't stand alone. Hi, I'm Gary Jacobs, president of Americans for Legal Reform. We're the oldest legal reform group in the United States. The justice system in the United States should be transparent, fair, and open to everybody and accessible. Unfortunately, many times that's not the case. At Americans for Legal Reform, we are here to help. Join the movement. Visit AmericansForLegalReform.com and help reform the system before it fails you.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA Store.
Welcome, everybody, to the Not So Newlywed Show, where 3 couples are going to compete for really great prizes. Okay, Donna, we asked Mike, who complained first on your honeymoon, you or him?
What do I think?
Yeah, what do you think?
I think he said.
Lisa, this ain't the SATs. Just tell us what. Donna, who complained first on the honeymoon?
I'm sure it was me, but I have no idea.
Donna is right.
No, it's always me.
What celebrity would you pick for a one-day pass?
For me?
Yeah, for you, not for him.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon! Wow! Who do you hate the most on her side? That rotten no.
There are so many choices.
Thank you all, and thank you for coming out.
Hi, my name is Elena Ruseva, aka Megalangela. Please check my art at www.megalangela.vip.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
Welcome back to the Patriots podcast. We are continuing with Tommy Tatum, and we were just getting to the point where you were
I was walking to the Capitol. On January the 6th.
You know, as you were saying though, with walking there, I remember that as we were walking down that long mile, there were no police. I think I saw maybe 5 on bicycles at one point going together as a group, and then that was it.
That's why, you know, when you watch these police chiefs testify about it, they act like we snuck up on them, like a million people jumped
There was
around
nobody.
the tree. Like, we slowly walked towards the Capitol for an hour. You didn't see us, Chief Son?
yeah, there
Right.
was-
You guys
and
were
also,
coming for
Chief Son,
days.
half our side wants to treat him like a hero. I'm like, you trained these officers who fired on us illegally. The President of the United States of America said so not too long ago. So I'd like you to address that, Mr. Son. Like, why did you train these officers to fire on people? Because I have video of Capitol police officers shooting 7 people in the head with rubber bullets at 1:06 p.m. And no riot started until an hour later when MPD shows up and threw hand grenades at grandmas for a half hour.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And everybody just stood around while
Yeah.
these flashbangs were going
That was the
off,
real
and-
insurrection.
So
Yeah.
to
I mean-
kind of get us there, this is when I arrived, because there's 1,500 or a million people there that day. But for me, I arrived at the steps, though I call them the White Rocks, which is the steps of the plaza, the west side of the plaza. And I got there at 2:27 p.m. Yes, and so if you know what's going on at 2:27 p.m. like I do now, the police 2 minutes before this had fired a 40 millimeter CS gas canister at the scaffolding. It comes bouncing back at the cops. It injures 140 police officers. So that 140, most of that is them injuring themselves and
Yeah.
blaming it on us. So what happens as that is they gas themselves and the entire line out, and this is when I'm showing up there. And for me personally, that went down like this. I'm getting there, looking at what's going on in all of everything, like
Yeah.
everybody is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I hear a bomb go off behind me. And I run for it, and there's cops with sticks beating people up. And all of that takes, it's hard for me to tell you how long of time that was because it felt like a lot longer.
Yeah.
But for about a good, I'm going to say 4 or 5 seconds. For about 4 or 5 seconds, I thought the cops were killing everybody.
Wow.
Because there's bombs
That's
going off behind me.
terrifying.
You're driving me into cops with sticks, and they look like Nazi
Yeah.
stormtroopers.
With their gear, yeah.
Riot gear. And they're beating everybody up, by the way. Like, and I testified to this, and I was told that they were going to go through my testimony really, really hard and give me a perjury charge, but they never did, so I guess that means I was telling the truth. In the distance, I'm watching 5 cops beat up a guy on the ground. I did the video research. They strike him 11 times. They erased one of the police officers' footage they manipulated. They obstructed the footage. Larry Logan did a documentary on it, and I learned all these things along the way. But to get back to the story, because I later, for those at home, I later became a subject matter expert and watched all the footage because I made all these friendships and relationships with these people. And when I went through the footage, I had heard the courtroom testimony from people saying what happened. Where
And things
and
weren't
then
lining up.
The truth came. I was
Right.
able to, I don't even know how to explain it.
Well, it was a
Piece it all
setup.
together.
You 5 minutes before all of that craziness, everything felt
well,
peaceful.
that's true. But God
right?
put me in a position to hear all these hundreds of stories from January 6ers, like in their most desperate. And a lot of times, to be honest with you, it was really hard to do because we're like, no, we're going to say that we have this right and we have this right. I'm like, no, you don't. I'm sorry. You have to walk the line between depressing them to where they feel like they walk into this completely deflated and black-pilled, or telling them the truth. I'm like, no, they're not going to let you have that right. You think you have that right. You have no rights in this country. Not under the Biden administration, you did not.
Right.
And I have 1,500 brothers and sisters that will promise you that. And they'll
Yeah.
show you the scars from it. But for me, as that happened, during that squirm, I fall down on the pile of people. Like somebody steps on my shoelaces behind me. And when I get up, I'm full of adrenaline. And I say, I don't even know how to explain it.
Well,
but-
because you're pissed.
Yeah, I'm full of adrenaline. And I say some really, really crazy sounding things that I later had to testify to for the defense and the prosecution. But what that was is I really thought the cops were killing everybody. Full of adrenaline, and I had gotten mad and yelled a bunch of stuff, but I still never went too far, in my opinion. And I never hurt a cop, never hit a cop. So after that happened, to get to the good stuff, the cops kind of went up the steps, and I was amazed that they let us follow. They didn't lock the door. All this skirmish happened, and they retreat and go up to the lower West Terrace. And on the West Terrace is where's the tunnel entrance. We all call it the tunnel. And this is where Roseanne gets killed.
And
so
you were
I'm
right
going to
there?
tell you all about it
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
So about 2:30, those cops, for a second time, the cops gassed themselves out again. So they just gassed themselves out and ran away, leaving a direct line inside the Capitol because they're completely incompetent. And then they do it again 10 minutes later. They shoot more gas at people. The guys throw it back up there, and they all make the brilliant decision to leave the outside of the Capitol to go inside to defend it. And when they get in there, my research has shown me that there's a HSI undercover that starts a skirmish with the police, and the police's reaction is brutality. They start swinging their sticks at people's heads, and the looks on their faces, they're not doing police work, they're trying to maim people. And this happens right in front of all these J6ers, and it led to a violent standoff. People probably felt like they were defending their lives because the guy's twice my size is swinging a stick at their head as hard as he can. And so this goes on for about an hour or so. And during this hour, there are times, I don't know if you've ever been in a fight, it's a very hard thing to do, and you get tired and you don't want to do it forever. So people will give up from exhaustion. And I don't know everything right, but agitators or even the cops would do something to start it back up, or maybe an Antifa guy, maybe one of our guys that got too rowdy, just watch the cops do some horrible stuff. But eventually around 4:08, it leads to Victoria White. I don't know if you guys know Victoria, but and this is the significance of that. They literally, she's the one that took 30-something strikes to the head in the tunnel. And all our guys are watching it happen 5 feet away, and they're trying to get to her to help her. And they eventually take Victoria back out the other entrance of the tunnel, and this took about from 4:08 to 4:15, 4:16. So when they get that, and what they were doing was trying to swap out all the police that were in the tunnel near the front who did not have gas masks out with cops who did. And that takes a minute. And by the time they got that set up, it was 4:20. And their great plan was to pull out a pepper ball gun from the back of the tunnel, fired it 31 times. And I believe I found the footage of one of these pepper balls hitting Roseanne Boylan in the face. I mean, because when a few moments later, they push everybody out of the tunnel. So when they fired the 31 pepper balls, I've listened to the footage, you can watch it, everybody freaks out. Because everybody, the cops, everybody starts choking like they're dying, and push everybody out. And when that happens, you know where the guy comes, where the president comes down to give the inauguration, the handrail right there. When that happens, Roseanne knocks into me, and I fall down, and my left leg is on the left side of that handrail, and the rest of me is on the other. And everybody comes down, both of us. So when you guys are watching that really, really, really violent footage, the really thing they showed 1,000,000 times to make this look horrible.
I'm going to stop you for a minute because we do have that footage.
Show it, and I'll catch my breath.
Yeah. I'll give you a minute. Can you guys pull up cut 3? This is a video of Lila Morris, who is the Capitol Police officer, beating Roseanne Boylan with her police stick.
I'm on the ground behind the guy standing up. She's in. That was just. That's her right there. This is it. Bam, bam, bam. Knocks the stick out of her hands.
Look, this is where you can see it really good. You see her in the green, the neon green, with her stick in the air, just beating her relentlessly over. And look,
horrible.
She beat her so bad that she lost control of the stick.
I have a very nuanced piece of information about that. You want to hear this? So,
yeah, you know what? Before you do, because I know, unfortunately, it's such a sad reality that most people have heard of Ashley Babbitt. But even I was speaking about this the other day about Roseanne Boylan, and even my mom was like,
who's Roseanne Boylan?
That's why I did this 4
and
years
I said
later.
she's another person, another J6er that lost her life.
Another
that day,
victim.
that the Capitol Police officers killed. So can the control room just cue up cut 1 so we can show the audience a picture of Roseanne? And then once we got, that's Roseanne Boylan. Look at her.
She was murdered.
Very sweet looking, individual.
God bless her.
And then I also just want them to pull up cut 2 so they can see the monster, Lila Morris, who beat her to death.
So that's why I do this 5 years later, because I live with Ashley Babbitt's mother. Do we have 6 more minutes, or we got longer?
About two and a half.
About 2.5.
Okay, so I'll give you a really quick version. I ended up living with Ashley Babbitt's mother for a year in D.C., doing the vigil, going to court.
We love Mickey.
Mickey, just real quick, I watched Mickey cry for Roseanne probably as many times as I watched her cry for her own daughter. And so it's the same thing, Mickey. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same thing, but it's the same amount of love there.
Yeah.
So, And I got arrested about a couple years later when they figured I would never see the stand again. They was never going to let me testify again. So when I say I was going to die in prison, I'm pretty sure they was going to cause things I would never see. And they had timed it out to where either Biden was going to be president again and nobody has any hope, or we all get pardoned. So I played a pretty risky game there.
Well, thank God.
But I knew that we won. And a lot of guys didn't. It was difficult for them. But I knew on my personal path as a man, I knew I was never afraid, like, you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life if you do what God told you to. So that's but it was terrifying for a lot of people for lots of reasons. And for me, it was, I wasn't able to go on with my life. Like, if I go get a girlfriend, they're going to wait till you get a girlfriend and fall in love, then they'll take that from you, because that's how evil they were. They were that calculating.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like, you feel like how do you feel now? Like, you always have to look over your shoulder?
Yeah,
still?
I feel like there's a few thousand dirty FBI agents and DOJ that want to probably put one in the back of my head if they could.
That's really a shitty way to live.
It's
right?
not cool. It's just not. It's not.
No.
And
God's
still,
got me there.
I was just
And
going to
honestly,
say,
if something bad like that were to happen, I'd get to go see my daddy quicker.
Oh.
So, right.
Don't say.
You know, you're doing the right thing. You're doing what God drove you to do and directed you to do.
It's the only way I knew I was ever going to be happy.
Well, and
that's
the
right.
way you can honor Ashley and the way you can honor Roseanne is to tell your story and just keep telling the story.
That's right.
You know, because like I said, no, most people don't even know about Roseanne.
I do feel like God's leaving me in that position. Like, I don't have to kill myself doing this research anymore. Other guys are out of jail. They can pick it up there. But I booked the thing today to do a speaking engagement with Kyle Rittenhouse and a couple of J6ers in November in Alabama. So
Awesome.
I think that's what I want to do.
Well, don't say words like I don't want to kill myself, because he's not suicidal.
and here's the thing that we always have to remember. A sovereign God is sovereign over all things, and nothing can happen to any of his children without his allowance. So you have the protection of the Lord over you.
And thank you for your bravery.
Yeah. Well, when we come back, we just stay. You're going to stay with us, right?
Yeah.
All right.
More stuff to come.
Talk about New York now.
We'll be back.
I said new.
I told you it's been crazy. I'm out of here.
No lights.
Free stuff for all.
I have to be such a downer.
For you, bow to the master staff. Come to me. Oh my God, this guy's from Jersey.
Hi, how you doing? Fuck up my stage.
I'm pretty sure I'm a woman.
No, you're not, Steve. Oh! Oh!
You're wet on my side. Now instead of a poke, you're getting a smack.
What have I done?
Hi, my name is Elena Ruseva, aka Megalangela. Please check my art at www.megalangela.vip.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse. No, it's the America First Motor Club here in Ronkonkoma, 9013th Avenue. Sunday morning, we're opening up 9 a.m. Beautiful artwork from Nelson Medina. We just passed him over there. We're coming in Sunday at 9 a.m. hot. We're going to raise some money for our veterans. The event is free. You make some donations, buy a hamburger. There will be food, plenty of it. We love this country. Congratulations, President Trump. Congratulations to our country. One nation, under God. Sunday morning.
Are you a musician, comedian, actor, filmmaker, or artist who stands for traditional American values? Do you believe in the preservation of our nation, our culture, and our freedoms? If you share our passion for America and want to use your talents to make a difference, we want to hear from you. Our mission is clear. Through the arts, we uphold the principles of freedom, faith, family, and the American spirit. It's time to step up to the mic and make your voices heard. So contact us at AmericanConservativeArtists.com.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
Look at me. Did you see that? Quick with it.
Welcome back to the Patriots podcast, where we're sitting with our guest here, Tommy Tatum. You're going to stick around with us here.
Listen to some New York news.
Yeah, we're going to get on to some New York news. So, did you guys hear about AOC?
Well, before we do that, we wanted
the
to,
Senate bill. Yes, the big beautiful bill.
The big beautiful bill.
It passed the Senate today, late this afternoon. So it's heading back to the House. I guess they're going to do their final review of it. We're looking to get this on Trump's desk by Friday.
They took out the illegals getting Medicaid, correct?
They will not get Medicaid, yes.
Thank you,
They will not.
Lord.
The AI thing was taken out too. I don't know if you guys are keeping up with that.
Did they leave it at 5 years?
Marjorie Taylor Greene got what she wanted.
Did they take it out altogether?
Did it all together.
Oh, awesome.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
I've been watching.
I think Trump was twisting some arms and he got what he wanted.
Yeah, I've been watching that all
Which he
week.
deserves, by the way.
Yeah, she's been working hard. She's been working really hard exposing that. A lot of people didn't even know about it. So she brought light to
She was
that.
right, by the way, because I've been getting into AI a lot. There's a lot of people's work I could just steal with AI in a day. So I'm just saying there had to be something.
Yeah.
Like I don't not just let them not let the big tech companies steal it from everybody else.
That's right.
Yeah. Don't let the American people steal it, not just right?
So we're happy about that. So now we're hoping that this, gets to his desk on Friday.
Goes all the way.
And it turns into law, and our tax cuts will remain, and we will not have a 68% increase in our taxes. So
And we don't have any
need
more
the
time
border
to
bill.
waste.
Yeah,
They've wasted enough time.
Yeah,
reading it out loud.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Chuck Schumer
It's ridiculous.
said they had to read it out loud, every single line in it.
When has that ever happened?
Could
somebody tell me?
It's just,
I mean,
stupid.
Half the time they don't even read it and they just
No.
sign it anyway.
They sign
well, their interns read it. We didn't elect interns. Sorry.
Yeah, Pelosi used to say, "Let's just get it done, and then we'll figure
have
out
to
what's
sign
in
it
it
to
afterwards."
see what's in
it.
Yeah.
Listen, I hate these like omnibus bills. I hate these big bills. I don't care if they're big and beautiful or big and ugly. I don't like them. They're it's trickery.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's trickery. They're loaded with things that no one can possibly get to the bottom of all of it. Why do they have to do that?
Yeah.
But whatever.
Let's just get it.
Let's
through.
get what wins we can.
Let's get it done.
Let's get it done.
Let's take
So-
this for now.
So back to New York now. So AOC, we were having this discussion before. Our Bronx girl, quote unquote, Bronx girl, really isn't a Bronx girl. She's
Full of
from
shit.
Westchester County.
Yeah.
She was Bronx for 5 minutes.
Is that a nice place in New York?
Well,
Yorktown.
I personally, I've never been there,
It's
but
not the Bronx, I'll tell you that.
it's not the Bronx.
Yeah.
Benny Johnson exposed it, and it's a beautiful suburban town in
Yes.
New York. It's outside of the city. It's
A sweet little ranch home she
not
grew
the-
up in.
She's not Jenny from the block. Let's put it that way.
no, she's
Well,
not.
I've heard
She's not
stories.
Sandy. Apparently, her name, growing up, was Sandy.
Yeah.
So I keep saying
She
Sandy,
was a
not
complete-
from the Bronx.
Yeah.
I think she literally answered an ad in the paper. We need somebody to come play congressman. Literally, I mean,
It does seem like that, right?
There is a story out there that is exactly the case.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but
I mean, that's how they recruit Antifa, no?
yeah, and
And protesters.
It's a 45-minute drive from the Bronx, so it's not only not even close to the Bronx. It's a 45-minute
Right.
drive. That's like one of us from either Suffolk County or Nassau County going to run for a position in Queens, Bronx,
It's like
Brooklyn.
a world away when
Yeah.
you like so many neighborhoods in between 2 points in a
Yeah.
place like this, right?
Yeah.
It's like a different world.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's completely different worlds. And she wants to pretend that she's from there and that she's the same as those people.
She looks like she's pregnant.
She looks like a
I
donkey.
mean, I see a
but
lot of people
let's-
talking about it. She's getting big.
Yeah.
The other day, I'm talking about, I think it was pickles and ice cream or something. She was going at it.
I did see that they were questioning whether or not she
You
was
never know.
pregnant.
Yep.
You never know.
Well, let's let the audience see. Can we pull up cuts 4, 5, and 6?
Thank you. This is the home she grew up in. Look at that. That's not something you'd see in the Bronx.
No.
It's not the projects.
No.
not at
It's
all.
a tree-lined
Not
street.
Section 8 housing.
Look at the smile.
I'm glad she had a happy
She looks
childhood.
depressed.
I want
Look
all
at look at the next one. Sandy.
Yes.
Look at
No,
Sandy.
nobody's begrudging her. Yes,
Sandy.
you're 100% right, Tommy.
Is that the science fair?
Yeah, it looks like science fair.
What did Tommy say? I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
I was just
Tommy.
saying, I'm glad she had a happy childhood like that. That's what we want for all Americans.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we begrudge that for no one. We want that for all.
doesn't need to
However,
lie
we don't
about
want
it.
people to don't pretend you're something you're not. You lived in the Bronx for 5 minutes, 5 years. Okay, born and raised for 5 years. That's not where you grew up.
Yeah,
That's
but
not
if
where you went to school.
If you look at like the most liberal areas, it's a lot of like they're white, rich, like entitled areas.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who don't have to face the consequences
So what?
of their
Because
policies.
she's tan,
Exactly.
she could pretend that she's from the Bronx.
I don't know how that would work. I can't.
You know?
I can't believe we're just now finding this out because she's been a major player in
I
American
know.
politics for several years now, and we're just now finding out.
I know.
So,
Right.
wow, it's just part of the.
I have to feel. I feel like people
conspiratorial
from her
side.
town have been. Obviously, they know if they grew up with her, people from her high school. And
Right.
that, I feel like they reached out to influencers like Benny Johnson and said, like, "Go. This is where she's from. Go
Right.
look." And then that's how. I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming.
Somebody that had maybe a falling out with or something. I'll tell your darkest secret. You know, what I mean? People are like, look, you think these politicians have like these major like a lot of times it's very petty human being stuff that goes on in trailer parks, which motivates them. I promise you. Like I've heard stories about the 7th floor at the FBI, like salacious things like that, and being true. Like they are involved in some weird things.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't doubt that.
None of that's
for
surprising.
sure.
Well, go ahead.
No. The thing that's the kicker is, the post that she put up, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. But she's constantly calling herself a
Bronx girl. If you pull up cut 7, it's got 21 million views. Right. Also, I'm a Bronx girl. You should know that we can eat Queens boys for breakfast respectfully.
And she's obviously referring to
It was
President
from
Trump.
the 24th of June.
Okay, so the recent.
Yeah.
And that was to President Trump.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
You're not a Bronx girl. You're not. You're a Westchester girl.
Right. We'd like to see you try.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'd like to see you try.
Because he's winning.
Trump's like, let me know when you make it to Manhattan.
Well, Tom Homan has officially announced that they have launched an investigation into her for employing illegal alien on her staff who are helping illegals evade ICE.
Yep.
Like, you got to be kidding me.
Yep.
That kind of flew under the radar.
Bring it.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's two
That'll land you in
things.
jail.
That's not good time.
That will land you in jail.
I'd love to see it.
Yep.
I pray that is what happens.
Yep.
These people deserve to go to
That's
jail.
right. Yeah.
That's treason. That is treason. You
It is
cannot
treason.
let terrorists or criminals invade our country and then help them
And assist
evade.
them.
Aiding
and abetting.
Aiding and abetting.
Aiding and
I agree
abetting.
that they should go to jail, and honestly, for the personal accountability, but also, and this applies for a lot of federal judges, I don't think we'd have to do it a lot. Like if we send 1 or 2 federal judges to prison, I think the other ones will get the hint and stop doing
Yeah.
treason.
Find the worst of them and make an example.
Make an example, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed. There hasn't been enough consequences for far
when's
too
the last
long.
time we tried for somebody for treason in this country? 200 years? Nobody's committed treason in this country.
They're
in 200
committing it
years.
every day.
Every
We
single
literally
day.
created a virus that was intended to kill half the country because
It was
Trump was
going
being
on well
successful.
before then.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Well,
she-
and
she's-
speaking of illegal aliens, today was a big day, right? Maybe not for New York. We'll just throw it in there because it's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Alligator Alcatraz opening day was today.
Did I say awesome?
Awesome. You said awesome.
I'm calling it
CT,
the
you
Gator
are here.
Gulag.
You got what?
I'm calling it the Gator Gulag.
Gator Gulag.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You got to coin that.
But then
Copyright
I
that.
wonder
That's Tommy's.
How terrified they would be, right? A lot of these people went through like gator-infested waters to get here. Is that right?
I got a question.
don't know.
I got an answer. I think they probably never had it so good in their life. They came from a third world country where everybody's eating dirt and gang members are trying to kill them. They're getting 3 meals a day,
Air
a
conditioning.
nice, clean place to sleep, and best medical care you can
They'll
get.
destroy that in minutes.
Yep.
No, they
You
won't
see
be.
what they did to the
they won't be
hotels in the
allowed.
city? They'll destroy that in
I don't-
They
minutes.
won't be allowed. Not
No,
in
so,
Alcatraz.
On that point, I heard something that was fascinating to me. So part of the deal is, you know how you have this backflow. Part of their scheme was to have so many of them that even if President Trump does come back, there will be so much backflow they won't be able to catch up. But part of the deal was we'll take some National Guard guys and let them be the judges,
Yes.
and then just fast track it all.
Yep.
Love that.
There's
Instead of
there's
months
no
and
18
months
months going home and committing
a day.
14 felonies and murdering 3 women before you come back to trial.
It's almost like tribunal. military tribunals. And
There's some theories out there about that. Look, I don't know if we have time to get into that.
Well, actually, I want to get to, because you guys touched on it last week, and I wasn't here to talk shit like I wanted to about this guy. This Zoran, what do we call him?
I call him the Zohan.
The Zohan.
Silky smooth.
Mamdani, the socialist Muslim who's running for New York City mayor.
Terrifying.
Terrifying.
He needs to learn what a spoon is. I saw him eting with his fingers. A bowl. And I ain't talking about a piece of chicken or pizza. I'm like,
it was rice.
Soup or something.
No, it was rice.
Licking his fingers.
I commented on it. I said, in America, we eat with forks.
Honestly, that's the least
What happened
of
to
my
the
worries
social
with
norms?
this guy.
Look, just don't shake his hand if you
let's
see him.
quickly, we got a few minutes before we cut to commercial, and we're going to go back to this anyway. But let's quickly touch on some of these policies that he wants in the state of New York. Anyone want to go?
I think we should list them all and then touch on them.
It's frightening.
Because everybody should know this.
Abolishing the NYPD, abolishing prisons, abolishing medical bills, abolishing private health insurance, banning all guns, legalizing sex work, safe injection sites, ending cash bail, decriminalizing drug possession, ending sentencing enhancements, ending all cooperation with ICE, government grocery stores on every corner, plans to spend $65 million on gender-affirming care.
Isn't that against the law?
I'm sure there's a ton more.
It's like the handbook to communism.
Yeah, it's the highlights.
Yeah,
highlights.
Yeah, those are just the highlights of his platform.
New York City, wake the bleep up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
They voted for this.
You're lucky Donna said it because she said bleep. I wouldn't have said it.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? It's all of these young kids that have had no clue. They spent $1 gazillion going to Columbia University, and now they think that everything should be given to them for free. They want free this, free that, but they don't realize they're so educated that they don't realize that they are putting us down a path of communism and socialism.
Somebody's got to pay for it. Who pays for it?
Us.
Exactly.
Rich.
Exactly.
Rich.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
and that was another thing. Did you see that headline on the New York Post? He wants to tax the white.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Tax the white.
Yes.
Tax the white.
Higher taxes on the white people.
Yeah,
How much more racist can you get?
The price is white. Thank you.
It is race-based communism, which is Maoism, which a lot of these Democrats literally get funded from China to do.
Yeah.
Look into the Humpty Dumpty Institute.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about this clown when we come back, but we do have to cut to commercial. But
Are we going to go to that video? Do we have that video later?
Yeah,
when we come back?
Yeah, we're going to go to it as soon as we come back. We'll be right back, guys.
That's cool.
I'm sorry.
The Queens Village Republican Club is America's oldest Republican club, founded in 1875. Situated in President Trump's hometown in Queens, New York, we are America First MAGA Republicans, empowering fellow Republicans to get involved in the game of politics at the grassroots level. We host inspiring monthly club meetings on the first Thursday of each month at 8 p.m. For more information, please go to our website at www.qvgop.org.
Corporate transfer, fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler, Donald Trump's language mirrors this directly.
Well, Hitler was duly elected. Let's deal with Hitler, okay?
I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that is Mussolini Hitler-like language.
You say Nazi enough times, someone's going to actually have the guts to do it.
Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler.
What percentage of this event happening was due to Donald Trump's rhetoric?
Don't miss Trump next time.
What do you make of the excess deaths?
None of us, not the president, not those hypothetical guys in the smoky rooms fully know what's going on, but we can speak about the unfolding of recent history with certainty.
Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy.
That is not how it works. That is a threat to democracy.
No. No.
You anti-Semitic piece of
When you make it difficult for people in their lives, they lose their ideological bullshit.
Free fries when you get vaccinated? Mmm. Vaccination.
I'll pass.
So we're back with the Patriots podcast. So we were having a conversation about Zohran Mamdani, who is the Democratic nominee for mayor for New York City. And this is frightening, beyond frightening with this man. He's only been a U.S. citizen for, I think, since 2018.
Yep, 7 years.
Originally from Uganda. Son of a Columbia University professor, multi-millionaire filmmaker mother, and he talks about spreading,
Socialism.
This communism, this socialism. He's complete socialist, Marxism, and free this, free that, free everything. Oh, who's going to pay for this? Are his parents going to pay for this?
Well, he doesn't have to worry about that because he's living in his parents' his mother's $2 million flat in Chelsea.
Yeah, he's a Nepo baby.
He sounds just like Ingalls himself.
What does he know? He's been
coddled his whole life.
A silver spoon his whole life.
That's actually kind of typical.
He wants to pretend that he's from this, he is from Uganda, but he lived like royalty in Uganda.
Yeah.
He didn't live like a third world president.
But you know what? They know that Americans, sorry guys, but most Americans are a little dumb, and a lot of Americans are dumb.
spoiled.
They think they say Africa, they don't recognize different African countries, and they hear a country like Uganda, and they think everyone there is piss poor, and it's not true.
That's what I was sitting here thinking. Like, I think someone told me the other day that Uganda, like, I know Barack Obama's father was an anti-colonialist.
Yeah.
If you look into that, there's a whole thing, which is why he removed Churchill's bust when he first went in there. So I think this guy is from that same communist school of thought as any kind of Western things that made the world better or bad because you're white.
Speaking of Obama, he comes off just like, if you remember back.
Smooth operator.
You remember back how Obama, how he spoke, how he, this guy played such a good ground game in New York. I mean, he literally, the grassroots effort that he put into reaching out to people, to knocking on doors, to having people going and doing this with him.
So he
took
Obama's
advantage.
army.
Yeah, he took advantage of that.
Real quick, I did see a video yesterday, and I don't know how true it is, but I want to look more into it, but I did see a video saying that he apparently had been with Barack Obama in Washington, D.C. twice in the last 6 weeks. And they said also who attended this meeting were the leaders of the Muslim Brotherhood.
This is getting scary.
You did it. You saw that?
I saw it on the news or something.
Yeah, I saw the video. So I don't know how true it is, but I'd like to dig a little deeper into that.
I think it's absolutely
But speaking of the Muslim Brotherhood, if you don't know who they are, they've been outlawed in Egypt, Syria, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Austria under their anti-terrorism laws. And there is a video that I do want the control room to bring up.
His rap video?
Well, it's a video that the Canary Mission, I don't know who they are, but they put it together, and it really lays out who this guy is. Can the control room cue up cut 8?
In 2017, Zohran Mamdani released a rap track that praised 5 convicted Hamas funders known as the Holy Land 5. Now he wants to run New York. Mamdani says, look him up. So we did. These 5 men were convicted of funneling over $12 million to Hamas, a U.S. designated terrorist organization responsible for the murder, rape, and kidnapping of civilians, including Americans. Mamdani sent his love to convicted Hamas funders. Let that sink in. Mamdani says, no wall will make it fall. That's an open door for criminals and chaos. Zohran Mamdani stands with convicted terrorist funders and wants open borders. This is New York City, not a sanctuary for terrorists. Zohran Mamdani, unfit, un-American, unthinkable.
It has to be an information.
It's scary.
Is that scary?
It's scary.
Yeah,
Is that
it's terrifying. The Canary Mission, by the way, is an organization that documents individuals and organizations that promote the hatred of the United States of America, Israel, and Jews in North America. So
they're shedding light on this, and I'm glad they did, because everyone needs to know. Like this guy is a terrorist. First of all, we should not be allowing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you were not born in this country, you should not be able to run for any elected office.
Agreed.
And we have to change that, because I'm going to tell you, I didn't have a conversation with our founding fathers, but I bet you they would not have gone. This would not have gone over well with them.
No.
Well, also in his rap, he says, "Build the wall, we'll make it fall."
Yep.
They said, listen, why is that not enough to say, okay, you're a terrorist, get out of our country? I saw today somebody said they're thinking about stripping him of his citizenship.
Well, I
hope it's an information op to show the world this is how bad New York got with all these Democrats. When we let them run everything, they wanted to put a literal terrorist in charge of the place where they killed 3,000 of us.
Well, we do have a Communist Control Act.
Communist Control Act of
1954. I think it's 1954.
Yep.
That can be invoked.
And Hoover was right about a lot of stuff that he was mocked for decades later, but he was right about the communists in this country, going back into the 30s and stuff. This World War II delayed a lot of their plans, but they never left. They just picked it back up in the 60s.
Well, they actually started in this country, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah. Well,
and that's the plan. That is their plan. They want America to fall, and they're doing a great job right now.
If New York falls, it's done.
You know what I see? I see that historically one of the only ways to drive Americans apart, because we don't have these centuries-old hatreds of countries and go to war, but they tried to do it with race. But honestly, I think they played it and it didn't work. Donald Trump just dramatically had more black support, and I think they're trying
the Spanish
to,
support.
And the replacement theory sounds racist, but it is true. But they're not trying to replace white votes. The Democrat Party has lost the black vote, and they're trying to replace the black vote with this new foreign invader threat.
Well, and they also want the alphabet mafia vote, because this guy who's a Muslim, who, if you know anything about Muslims,
they throw gay and lesbians off roofs over there.
Yes.
So
they behead them.
Yesterday, which is, I'm sorry, over the weekend, he was at, I call it the pervert parade, because that's what it is.
It was disgusting.
No longer call it the pride parade. It's now the pervert parade.
I don't know how people bring their children to actually watch this.
But he was at the pervert parade with Letitia James, the two psychos that want to defund the police. And look at them right here. Here's an image of it. They are there with their security detail, and you could see the guys packing.
Clearly armed.
Yeah, clearly armed. So they're allowed to feel safe and have security, but peasants like us,
no police for you.
No police for us.
And to touch on what Angie said before, as far as if New York falls, then the rest of us fall, that goes right back to the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
That's it. Right? We were
we've had this
discussing
discussion a few episodes back, with your family heritage.
And forever, it's always been that way. New York and California, they call the shots, and then everyone else follows along the line.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what they're doing right now, if anyone's been paying attention to what's going on in London, is exactly what they want to do to New York City. London is no longer London.
Yeah, London has fallen.
Okay, London has fallen. And New York City, if this takes control and this guy gets voted in New York City, we have a huge problem, because if we lose New York, we will lose America, and I don't think people truly understand that.
And if he gets elected, people are going to flee, even on the left.
Yes.
Even on the left.
Well, people have stopped, and people with money have stopped investing in New York. They're like, you know what?
Started.
Deals just fell through. They said, you know what? Put a pin in that. We'll come back after the election, and depending on its outcome. I mean, these are educated people saying, I'm not investing in this city with this going on.
Our stock market sits there in New York City. Everything is generated from New York City. Look at how many billions and billions of dollars are generated through there.
If it gets too bad, I know I have about 1 million friends I can call, and we'll come up to New York this time.
We're going to need you.
We will.
So we only have a few minutes left, and we do have to get to announcements and prayer tonight. But I did want to say, because like we were saying, if New York falls, the rest of the entire country falls. And with The 4th of July being this Friday,
Yeah.
I think it's important to say that most people think that in 1776, when we signed the Declaration of Independence,
Which was not on the 4th of July. It was actually tomorrow on the 2nd, which is Shannon's
my
birthday.
Happy birthday, Shannon.
But with that being said, the British still controlled New York in 1776. It wasn't until 1778 that when George Washington and the coal perspiring and yes, my ancestors started stacking bodies, for lack of a better word, and kicked the British's ass, is when we finally took control of New York and is when we took control of America.
I just want to say this, though. We actually didn't kick the British's ass. There's I forget the general, the famous general on the British side said we didn't outgun them, we outspied them.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick, I know we're doing this real quick. Normally T does announcements. She's not here tonight. I'm going to try and do this.
Oh, it's so easy.
So Studio 6B is off this week in observance of Independence Day, so there'll be no live taping this Friday.
There's nothing going on.
Nothing going on at the warehouse this Friday.
What's going on in our house?
Can you guys cue up announcement 1? The Kevin Downey Jr. Show. This is a good friend of the warehouse. Please listen to him. He's live every day on 103.9 Long Island News Radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And if you guys can pull up announcement 2, tomorrow, July 2nd, my birthday, the America First Warehouse presents the annual Address to America with Scott Lebedo. Uncle Scotty, we love him. Doors open at 5. There's a movie screening of Scott's movie, The Relentless Patriot. Comedian Paul Bond will be here. After party with DJ Luke. Purchase your tickets online at the AmericaFirstWarehouse.com. And last but not least, announcement 3, Saturday, July 12th, the America First Warehouse presents Back the Blue Car Show. Again, you can get your tickets online at the America First Warehouse.
Good job.
Yeah.
I hope I made you proud, T.
Yes. All right. We'll
Hold
close
hands.
out with a prayer.
Yes.
Tommy, we're happy to have you with us tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Heavenly Father, thank you for the incredible men and women who have fought for freedom across this globe, and particularly for this nation in the years past and still today. As we enter this holiday weekend, help us remember all of those who have sacrificed so much to protect and defend freedom. We ask that your sovereign hand be upon all of us and that your spirit cover this land. Renew and strengthen the common bond that we the people have, which should come before all else, that we are made in your image and because of that have unalienable rights. Let that truth be a unifying force as we remember and celebrate our shared history this July 4th, the 250th anniversary of America. Father, we also present all of those who are suffering and struggling today. We ask that your hand be upon them, and we pray for our dear sister, Patriot Teresa. May all we ask be done in a way that is pleasing to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 And as always, keep your faith strong, your family close, and your freedom alive.
Good night, guys.
Good
Like
night.
and
Happy
share.
4th.
Like and share.
Happy 4th, guys. Oh, and catch us on iHeartRadio and Spotify every Wednesday at 9 p.m.
Yep. Happy birthday, Shannon.
Thanks.
Happy birthday, Shan.